Welcome to my Elden Ring walkthrough slash let's play slash I'm just gonna play the game and you're gonna watch if you want. I hope you do. So I'm gonna play this game. I'm gonna do this walkthrough. I'm not gonna skip ahead and farm 10 flasks. I'm not going to skip ahead and get overpowered weapons or overpowered um, +6. I'm not going to have a +6 colossal weapon when I fight Margit the Fell-Omen for the first time. That's just not what I'm into doing. I just want to play this level, do each area at the level that it is. So I've decided I'm gonna build. There's a ton of different builds you can do, and each one of these classes give you a like kind of a head start in that area. The Vagabond is a great. Let's see. I'm probably gonna pick. I think I'm gonna pick a Confessor. I think. I want to do a quality build. Let's name ourselves. Alright. I think that works. We're going to start with this Confessor because mostly because I like the armor set. And that's really it. Like a hero starts with way more strength than this, but a lot less faith. I don't mind a little bit of faith because it increases fire damage, holy damage, stuff like that. And I'm going to hopefully enchant my weapon with some fire stuff and do stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm going to be a quality build, which means I'm going to level strength and dexterity equally for the most part. And I'll probably pour a little bit of points into faith as well. However, I think that this gives me a little bit of a good amount of the really important stats like strength, dex. Gives me great faith, which is good for starting. Not a little bit after you get to the first town area. Let's see, we got some good mind. Vigor could be higher, but like I said, the main reason is because honestly, I just like the armor set. For our keepsake, we're gonna do the Golden Seed. I strongly recommend the Golden Seed. None of these other, like this thing you can get really super early on, increases your health. I think by 5. It's not that good. It's good, but it's not worth putting on. It's not worth getting because you could just go buy that really easily. Fang Dip Ashes, again, not a very good summon. You will need them, but you can buy them later on. Crackpot would be great. I think Crackpot would be a fantastic idea. However, if you're new to the game, which is kind of what this playthrough video's for, I think the Golden Seed would be more worth it because this increases your flask charges. Let's see, I have favorites here. I'm just gonna do this one here. Yeah, I like the way that is. Alright, so we got all of our starting gear, and we got a Golden Seed, we have our name. Let's get in here. I'll let the cutscenes play.
The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion, the loathsome dung-eater, and Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing.
You will meet all those characters, and you will learn to hate a lot of them.
And one other, whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between, to stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
Alright. And here we are. I do like this armor set. So, this is where you start in this room. Obviously, you need to come over here. You're going to get the Tarnished Wisdom's Finger. That allows you to write messages. Messages are like those things behind me there on the ground, where you can use like templates. You can't just type whatever you want. You have to use templates or predetermined words to build a message. So we're gonna just run down here. There's nothing else here. There's nowhere to loot. There's nothing to do. We're gonna run down here. Now we're gonna end up getting ambushed. Now, don't worry about killing this guy, because you're not going to be able to. We don't have a heal. I mean, if you spent enough time practicing on this guy, there are people that have killed him, but he's gonna kill you, so just, you can either jump off the side of the cliff there and just get it over with, or you can just let him knife your head right off your shoulders. The choice is yours. You're gonna die.
Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on her side. We found her here after all. One of her kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
Alright. Now we got our flasks of Crimson Tears and our flask of Cerulean Tears. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, obviously that item up there you can't get. Maybe it's not so obvious, but you can't get that right now. We could come back, we could get that later on, but you can't get it from here. So what I would do is come up to this guy. You could talk to him if you want. It doesn't really say too much. Take the plunge. That's kind of of learning and remembrance. So that is basically the hint, jump down here. So this is the official tutorial zone. When you get to the tutorial zone here, you can run this over and over and over again. But when you do this, this is our first grace. This is our first site of grace. We're going to hit this up. When you sit down, remember when we created our character, I decided to take the golden seed. That allows us to increase the amount of charges we have to our flasks. So now, instead of 3 and 1, we have 4 and 1. So we are medium rolling. There is, depending on what class you start, some classes start with a lot of gear, you'll be heavy rolling. There's 3 different weight classes. There's light, medium, and heavy. Most people play medium. There are a rare amount of people that play heavy. I don't like heavy. Most people don't like heavy. In this game, when you roll, during that roll animation, you get something called immunity frames, or I-frames for short. While you're in that roll animation, you're immune to damage. You can't take any damage from block you, stun you, stagger you, nothing. You're immune. If you're heavy rolling, your roll is extremely slow, and the immunity frames are shorter. It's like a half a second or something, where this is almost a full second, and light rolling actually is about the same as medium rolling, except you go further. So I would strongly suggest never wear, and so anything you put in these 3 slots, these 3 slots, these 4 slots, and anything in these slots here, you're going to get 3 more slots here eventually. But anything in these slots, these slots, these slots, and these slots have weight to them. So like for example, this sword has weight. Let's see over here. So these pants have weight. The gloves, they have weight, is right here. You want to keep your weight about 70% of your max. So this is your max. This is what I currently have. As long as you're below 70%, you'll medium roll. So that's what I suggest. Now, you can one-handed your sword and use your shield, or you can two-hand your sword. There's light hits, and there's heavy hits, and there's Ash of War abilities. So that guy was a one-shot with the two-handing my sword. Now it takes 2 swings to hit him, to kill him with one hand. So it does significantly more damage. I'm surprised that guy didn't die. Jump attacks do way more damage. So jump attack, that does more damage, just attack, and that attack does more damage than this attack. You'll get used to them as we go. There's a guy up there, be careful he doesn't shoot you. Just run under here. Now we're gonna fight this guy down here. I'm gonna put my shield on. We're going to jump attack. So what I did there is, now I'm watching my stamina. Jump attack, hit him, put my shield up. Jump attack, hit him, put my shield up. If he bounces off my shield, I can guard counter him. You have to encourage him to. Now what happened there is, I hit him enough times in the shield. Every time I hit his shield, it takes away from his stamina, his green bar. If I drain his green bar all the way down, it will knock the shield out of his hand. Which, if you use two-handed, if you two-hand your weapon, it'll actually hit his stamina bar a lot harder. Oop. So, now we're going to be fighting this archer. Just put your shield up. Now you see, every time an arrow hits us, it takes a little bit from our stamina. But it does recover. So as long as you don't let that go all the way down, you're good. So we're just going to run up. And that sound you hear is called a guard counter. When you hold your shield up and someone hits your shield, if within a half of a second, if you use a heavy attack, you will do a guard counter. Guard counters are so useful. If you don't like guard countering, a lot of times what you can do, and if you're watching if you do your tutorial, they're going to tell you to sneak up on this guy. That's a backstab. That's a crit. That's another way you can get easy kills without, risking, getting murdered. So we're just going to roll through here. This guy, I heavy hit him. Did you see how slow that swing was? Because that was a nice, slow, heavy hit. That knocked him, that stunned him, staggered him pretty bad to the point where I was able to get a crit. And this is going to be the boss. This is the Soldier of Godric. We're just going to jump. Parried his blow there for a second. Tried to parry him, didn't work. Doesn't matter, he's dead. Surprised I took that much damage, but hey, I am not perfect. I'm gonna die, and so are you. It's just part of the game. That's the emote, or a jester, I mean. You have different jesters. That's how you can communicate with other players. You can't talk to each other. And you could do this over and over and over. So now we're back down here where we started. This is where we woke up, in the water over here. There's that item up there. There's this guy we talked to. Looks familiar. You could just jump back down here and do that again. And you won't be able to fight the boss again. You won't be able to fight the Soldier of Godric. But you'll be able to fight the other mobs. And I strongly suggest doing that. If you could get through that whole thing without taking any damage at all, and you can do it rather quickly, relatively quickly, then you're ready for Elden Ring. You're ready to go out into the world and start fighting the real deal. Don't worry about this fog, and don't worry about this thing yet. We'll come back there later. It's a little bit too advanced for us. Now, when we get to the top here, we're going to find a couple of things. We're going to be, it's going to be beautiful. Beautiful Limgrave. Elden Ring is a beautiful game. It really is. There's the Erd tree. Right at the tip of my sword there, you see the tree sentinel that has probably killed 1 million plus new players. Don't mess with him. Just leave him go. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come over here, and we'll get that grace, but let's talk to
Oh, yes.
this guy first.
Tarnished, are we? Come to the lands between for the Elden Ring? Hmm? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table Hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity.
Now, when you meet an NPC, any NPC in the game, don't attack them. Every NPC has some sort of benefit, for the most part. But when you meet an NPC, talk to him, and then talk to him again.
Luckily for you, however, there is one shining ray of hope for even the maidenless. Me. Vare. Take care to listen. Are you familiar with grace? The golden light that gives life to you tarnished. You may also behold its golden rays, pointing in a particular direction at times. That is the guidance of grace, a path that a tarnished must travel. Indeed. Grace's guidance holds the answers. It will lead you tarnished to the path you are meant to follow, even if it leads you to your grave.
And we'll talk to him again.
Grace's guidance will reveal the path forward, most certainly, to Castle Stormvale, over on the cliff, the home of the decrepit demigod, Godric the Drafted.
Talk to him again.
It's time you set off, I should think, to Castle Stormvale on the cliff, where Grace would guide you, if you seek the Elden Ring, maidenless as you are. It's time you
again.
set
Now
off,
he's
I should
saying the
think.
same thing.
So
So
if
that's what
you
you want to do with every NPC. You want to listen to their entire dialogue until they start repeating themselves. Once they start repeating themselves, you're done with that part and you can move on. Now he's talking about the grace guiding us, and we have to go to Stormvale Castle on the cliff. Up there, above my head, that's Stormvale Castle on the cliff. If you open your map, when I hit this grace, which we didn't discover yet, let's do that. Now that we've discovered that grace, you'll notice that there is yellow energy, whatever you want to call that, pointing up. Now if I point myself directly at the cliff, or at the castle, actually it's telling us to go this direction, which I'll show you where that is. But that's basically pointing at the castle. It's giving you an idea, a direction where you want to go. However, you don't want to just run right to the castle. There's a lot of other stuff you want to do before you enter the castle. So we're going to sit down here. This will replenish our health. It'll replenish our flask charges for free. Doesn't cost any materials. You don't have to farm nothing. We're going to pick up this item, which is a small golden effigy, which allows us to do co-op, help people. If you see one of these statues, these effigy statues, examine it. Every one of them. Make sure you examine it. That allows us to put a gold summoning sign down to help other players defeat bosses, and it's a safe way to get runes, because if you die in somebody else's world, you just return to your world and you keep all your runes. When you see these ruins here, like this big wall that fell down, you're going to find these, oftentimes you're going to find these little white rocks on the ground. Grab them, pick them up. They're helpful. It's not totally needed, so don't spend a ton of time looking for them. But if you see one, just grab a couple. It's always good to have them because you can make something called rainbow stones with them. And I'll explain what they do when the time comes. We're going to come over here and get this. This is a smithing stone. This allows us to upgrade our weapons. And upgrading our weapons is huge. It makes your weapons so much stronger. But smithing stones are kind of limited.
You're tarnished. I can see it. And I can also see that you're not after my throat. Then why not purchase a little something? I am Kale, purveyor of fine goods.
So this is Kale. He is a merchant, one of many merchants in the game. We could listen to him.
I am of a nomadic people, selling wares as I travel. The land has been tainted by madness since the shattering of the Elden Ring. It's only tarnished like yourself, who keep things from drying up entirely. Let's say you're a very welcome customer.
Alright, now we can purchase things from him, and I'll explain a lot of this stuff in a minute. But we can ask, what does Kale recommend?
You know,
Kale.
if you can spare the runes, you should buy yourself a crafting kit. A crafting kit allows you to make basic items on your own. Essential, really, if you intend to survive out here for any duration. The kit costs a bundle, and I admit I do take my cut. But the important thing is that you survive. Every customer counts, after all.
So,
Goodbye.
he recommends you buy a crafting kit, and so do I. It's necessary. So if we open our menu here, we can't open our crafting. We can open our inventory, we can check our stats. We can't open our item crafting because we don't have a crafting kit.
What is it?
So, if we want to purchase something, we can purchase the crafting kit from him for 300 runes. We have 589 runes because we did the tutorial area. That's another reason why I suggest doing the tutorial area, because it's a quick, easy 500 runes, and when you get here, you can immediately buy the crafting kit. Now, the other things I suggest getting from here are 3 cracked pots for sure, and all 3 of these cookbooks. These cookbooks are basically recipes. They teach you how to make things in your crafting menu. You can also buy the torch. Some people recommend buying the telescope. I personally don't ever use the telescope. If you want it, get the runes and buy it. I just don't think it's worth it, especially early game. So these 3 things here, this is absolutely essential, and I strongly suggest getting the cracked pots. But we don't have any more runes at the moment.
I'm glad you took my...
So what we will do is we will head on out, and we will we'll get some runes. We'll get some things. So you're going to see some flowers in the game. This is an Erdleaf flower. These Erdleaf flowers, now that we have our item crafting, because we bought our crafting kit, allow us to make Furl Calling Finger remedies. That is for co-op play, and I'm not going to get into how to do co-op play. There's lots of videos on YouTube. But you need those if you ever want to do co-op play. I grab them just to force a habit, but I grab them when I see them. These here are Roa fruits. You're going to see a lot of these. These allow you to craft Roa fruit, or Roa raisins, I believe it's called. Yeah, Roa raisin. They heal your horse if your horse takes damage. I don't use it very often, but you might. We're going to jump. Take this guy out. Or that. So now if we sneak by just pressing X, or believe it's the right trigger down on Xbox, I don't know about PlayStation. Sneak up to this guy, he can't see us. Unless we walk directly in front of him, or maybe walk on that cart and the cart breaks, he'll hear it. But sneak up behind him, left click, a light swing, and you'll enter a critical strike animation, and not much survives that. So we're gonna come up here, grab these early. Well, he's seen us. Let's go. Well, he didn't see us yet, but yeah, he's dead. Now, for the most part, animals won't attack you, but sometimes they do. Another earthly flower. We'll sneak up on this guy. Again, see which direction he's facing, and just sneak up behind him. Easy. So we're getting 64 runes per kill. These mushrooms, also grab them. If you see mushrooms on the ground, pick them up. because they allow you to make some great weapon greases and enchantments and pots and stuff. Root resin is another really good one. I pretty much pick up everything I see. It's all useful. So we're going to run over here. We're going to grab this, crouch down, sneak up, stab the back, lay down. Here's another set of ruins. We're going to come through and pick up the rune fragments. I don't know if he was going to attack me or not, but we attacked him first. Now we got hefty beast bones. You can get hefty beast bones and thin beast bones. Beast bones are used for arrows, bolts. I believe you can craft. Yeah, you can use. I think thin beast bones. You can make bone darts. That's like a throwing dart. I usually don't use them too much. I'd rather the Kakiris. We found those Kakiris earlier. Inventory. These here, we just picked these up. They're great. They're awfully expensive. You can't craft them, but you can buy them from merchants, yet they're pretty expensive. I think they're 60 runes a piece. So, you know, we're getting 64 runes per enemy right now, so that's relatively expensive. So, this is Gatefront Town. We're not going to go into Gatefront Town yet. We're going to go around it, because if you look right at the tip of my sword there, that's a grace. So we're going to run over to that grace, picking up the Erd Leaf flowers on the way. And we're going to sit down at that grace. And we're going to have a special visitor visit us while we're sitting down at that grace. So you want to discover the grace? Now when you discover a grace, all the enemies we've killed so far are dead. We've discovered the grace. Now when we sit down, as soon as you sit down, all the enemies that you've killed respawn, except for bosses. And I'll let this play.
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord.
Now Melina is going to talk to us. She's the lady that we met early.
They serve the two fingers, offering guidance and aid to the tarnished. But you, I am afraid, are maidenless. I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erd Tree.
Of course, we're going to accept. Now, if you remember, White Mask in the beginning there was saying that we are maidenless. She is offering to be our maiden. Of course, we're going to accept.
Summon me by grace to turn runes into strength. Ah, another matter. I bequeath to you this ring. Use it to traverse great distances. It will summon a spectral steed named Torrent. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect.
Alright, now we got Torrent. Now we have about 600 runes, I think I remember. We're not going to spend those 600 runes. We are going to do, though... What's this here? We are going to put this Spectral Steed Whistle over here on our pouch. This way we can summon our mount quickly. Alright. Now, I'm going to stop here for this video. What we covered is we talked to NPCs, we got to Grace's. We need to get some runes so we can buy those cookbooks off of Kale. As well, there's a couple items in this town that we can get that'll help us in our quest. But until next time, I will see you then.